All right, so now let's go and talk about the special right triangles, because I think special right triangles, just like the Pythagorean triples, like if you looked back at those examples, you can say, wow, Pythagorean triples like allowed me to do a lot of work, or allowed me to be able to solve the missing side of the triangle without doing a lot of work. Well, the special right triangles are exactly that, right? So up to this point, the only way that we could solve the missing side of a triangle is if we had two sides of a right triangle. We can always use the Pythagorean theorem. If we recognize that those two sides are part of a Pythagorean triple, we can use that Pythagorean triple relationships, right? And again, there's many more than the ones that I just provided. But again, those are the ones that I would say you're definitely going to want to be familiar with because they show up the most often. But now the special right triangles is actually even better, I think, because you even need less information from in there. So let's go and do a quick review of our special right triangles. I'm not going to get into where these relationships come from, but it is kind of like a nice activity if you're working on there. And of course, I have, videos explaining kind of that process. But for right now, I just want you to kind of know, like, if we have a right triangle, that is what we call an isosceles right triangle. That means these two angles are going to be exactly the same. And so therefore the measure of those two angles is going to be a 45 degrees. So therefore this we could say is 45 degrees, and therefore this angle is also a 45 degrees. Now, again, one thing I said that was really important. I said these two side lengths are going to be exactly the same. So we can just say they're x and x. Let's pretend we don't know what their measurement is. Now, if I wanted to find the hypotenuse, like you could do the Pythagorean theorem. And if you do that math, what you're going to get is the hypotenuse has a relationship of x square root of 2. So the main thing is like the legs are exactly the same length, but to get to my hypotenuse, I just need to multiply by the square root of 2. On the same front, right? So to go from here to here, you multiply by the square root of 2. But what if I was given the hypotenuse and I wanted to find the leg? Well, you're just going to do the inverse of that, right? Which would be divide by the square root of 2. So we'll do some examples here in just a second so you can see how to figure that information out. But I wanted to see how that relationship works. Now, the other special right triangle is what we call the 30, 60, 90 triangle. So that is, again, a right triangle, right? But rather than being an isosceles with 45, 45, 90, this one has a, now let's make that a 60-degree angle. This one is going to have a 60-degree angle, a right angle, and a 30-degree angle, okay? Now, in this case, let's say our short leg, so we have two legs, right? They're not equal to each other. So let's call this one the short leg, and then let's call this one the long leg. Now, this relationship is a little bit more complex when we're actually describing like how this relationship happens. The kind of proof to this is just a little bit, it just adds a couple more steps. So it just makes sense for the sake of time just to kind of go through this relationship. So from short leg to hypotenuse, that's going to be a 2x, right? So you're basically going to multiply by 2. And to go from short leg to long leg, you're going to multiply by the square root of 3. Okay. Now, again, could you go in the opposite direction? Of course, right? To go from here to here, you're going to divide by square root of 3. To go from here to here, you're going to divide by 2, right? So you're just working in that opposite direction. So let's go ahead and just kind of look at some examples and kind of see, if we're given a special right triangle, like how can we find those missing sides, right? Because here's the thing I want you to recognize here. When we have a right triangle, right? And let's say we only have one piece of information. So in this case, let's pretend, all right, here's a right triangle. Right? It is an isosceles, like read these two angles are exactly the same. We know they're now 45 degrees. And let's say this answer is 3. And I say solve for x and y. Okay. So the cool thing is like, I don't have enough information to use the Pythagorean theorem here, right? I don't know what the other two side lengths, but I recognize this to be a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So I recognize that my other leg is y, right? So therefore y is equal to a 3. And then my hypotenuse here is going to be x. And the relationship from the leg to the hypotenuse is going to be just multiply by 3. So it's going to be 3 square root of 3. Okay. We can also work this out if we were given like the hypotenuse. So for example, let's do another special right triangle. And now in this case, let's pretend that I actually gave you the hypotenuse here. So let's pretend the hypotenuse is going to be let's say a square root of 6. All right. And let's say this is an isosceles triangle. And I say, fine, solve for x and for y. Now, in this case, we know that to go from leg to the hypotenuse, you multiply by the square root of 2. So now to go from hypotenuse to leg, you're going to divide by the square root of 2. So I can say x equals a square root of 6 divided by a square root of 2. Well, since you have a radical divided by a radical, right, you can rewrite this all under the same radical. And then 6 divided by 2 is going to be a square root of 3. And then the nice thing, again, knowing this relationship is now you know y is also going to be the square root of 3. 45, 45, 90 triangles are going to be fairly basic, like not fairly basic, but it's pretty straightforward. Sometimes the 30, 60, 90 though can get a little confusing. So let's kind of go through some of those examples. And again, like the nice thing about the 45, 45, 90 triangle is your two legs are exactly the same, right? So it's really just that idea of going between the legs and the hypotenuse. However, for the 30, 60, 90 triangle, you really need to understand which one is the short leg and which one is the long leg, because obviously they're not the same there. There is a relationship between them. So if your orientation is a little bit different, just make sure you know which one is, which one's long, which one's short. And again, like it should be pretty apparent in any kind of problem that you're working on. So let's pretend we have something like this. Let's pretend we have a 2 square root of 3, right? Now that's the short leg. And I want to find the long leg, or I'm sorry, the hypotenuse and the long leg. So to go from short leg to hypotenuse, it's pretty straightforward, right? You just multiply by 2. So x equals a 2 times a 2 square root of 3, right? 2 times 2 is going to be a 4. So therefore that's a 4 square root of 3. Now to solve for y, right, you're going to multiply by the square root of 3. So therefore, that's going to be a 2 square root of 3, and we'll say times a square root of 3. Now in this case, when you're multiplying radicals, again, you can put that product under the same radical. So square root of 3 times square root of 3 is just going to be a 9. Square root of 9 is going to be 3. So 2 times 3 is going to equal a 6. Now in the next example, let's go ahead and maybe simplify the orientation. Maybe let's put it something like this. All right, so now in this case, you can see we have something like that. And I don't know, let's put a 5 here, right, as the hypotenuse. So now what we need to be able to understand is like, all right, if 5 is my hypotenuse, how do I find my missing measures of like x and y? So remember, to go from short leg to hypotenuse, you multiply by the square root of 2. So to go from hypotenuse back to the short leg, you're going to divide by the square root of 2, right? So x is simply going to be a 5 divided by 2. Now, to go from short leg to long leg, what do? Short leg to long leg, you multiply by the square root of 3. It's the same thing. It doesn't really matter if it's a fraction or not. So therefore, this is going to be the square root of 3 times a 5/2, right? And we're all set. All right, let's just do one more example just to make sure, because the only thing I didn't do was do a long leg. And so let's pretend we have a long leg here. Let's do a -2 square root of 3, okay? Again, we got to understand that relationship. So when given the short leg, right, multiply by 2 to get the hypotenuse, multiply by square root of 3 to get the long leg. So if we're given the long leg, to go from long leg back to short leg, you need to divide by the square root of 3. So if this is an x and this is a y, I don't know why I'm doing a -2. That doesn't make any sense. Let's actually do a 5 square root of 3. Okay, now in this case, to go back from long leg to short leg, I'm going to divide by the square root of 3. So in this case, I have a 5 square root of 3 divided by the square root of 3. Well, square root of 3 divided by square root of 3 is just going to be a 5. And now my short leg, right, kind of like my home base I have. So 5 to hypotenuse is just going to be 2, like you're going to multiply by 2. So x is going to equal a 2 times a 5, right? And that's just going to equal a 10.